So Matt, via Eternal Summer, Guildford Shakespeare Company back out in the open air. People that are going to come on and see it, in terms of the performance, what should they expect?
Well, what we wanted to create was a celebration of Shakespeare, of our community, but also the magic of sharing a live theatre experience. Again, you know, it's been 6 months now since we did Macbeth, which we opened the year with, which seems like an eternity ago. And so we wanted to create something that was a celebration of a sense of being back to a certain sort of normal. One of the key constraints of our current situation and the UK government's guidelines on opening up outdoor theatre is the number of people gathered. And working with Guildford Borough Council, who've been working very closely with on this pilot, we can't have more than 30 people in one venue, in one place gathered. That includes the cast as well. So we were trying to work out a project, to show that could allow for a small audience, but still enable us to generate the income required to pay the 11 strong cast and all the the associated bits and pieces. And so we looked at our Sonnet Walk model, where small groups of audiences walk around the town and discover Shakespeare in the least likely of places. And so that's what we've created here. So audiences are going to get to see many actors that they will recognise from many shows that they've been involved with, some most recently, some a few years back. And they're going to get to see scenes and speeches from, amongst others, Hamlet, Midsummer Night's Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, As You Like It, Love's Labour's Lost, Tempest, Unreal Errors, Venice, and Sonnet as well. So a real lovely mix of fun, happy, sexy, beautiful words, poetry, images, yeah, a little bit of daft Shakespeare-ness thrown in as well.
So I know you're going to be using 3 locations, some of which your seasoned followers will know quite a lot of. Maybe some people are coming along perhaps for the first time, will be introduced to these new spaces. And there are reasons, of course, for you having to use the 3 locations anyway.
Yeah, that's right. So as I said a few moments ago, one of the big conditions we're working with Guildford Borough Council on this pilot event was about ensuring that only a maximum of 30 people can gather at any one time. That includes the cast as well. So in order for us to make, GSC as a business, it's a registered charity. Everybody's being paid for their work here. We've got to make sure that we still generate the same revenue. But if we have more than 30 people in a space, what do we do? How do we make that work? So what we've done is, based on the idea of the Sonnet Walks, we're using Racks Close, Castle Cliff Gardens, and the bandstand. Now, Racks Close, Robin Hood and Midsummer Night's Dream a few years ago. The bandstand, of course, we've used many times before. So the idea is that audiences will arrive at Racks Close. They have a 20-minute show there. Then one of the actors will lead them onto Castle Cliff Gardens, where they get another 20-25-minute show. Then they move on again to the bandstand, where the show will finish. So the 75-minute show includes that little bit of walking between the two, and it means that our casts are located within each section. We've had to ensure that the seating that we're providing, obviously we're maintaining our 2-meter social distancing and ensuring that audiences can still stay in their bubbles, or their households, so that all seating will be in pairs or single seats. But you can sit together, or they can, or sit together to a certain extent, or on single seats. They have to be 3 meters away from the audience, and then in between each performance in that venue, our stewards who are on site will be disinfecting and cleaning the seating, ready for the next audience that comes in. And our stewards will have face shields and the usual sort of necessary PPE to keep everybody safe. So from that point of view, it's been a logistic challenge to ensure that we can get 4 to 6 performances a day running concurrently, but timing-wise, ensuring that this sonnet lasts a minute, that scene lasts 3 minutes. So the audience, because we can't have any audience overlapping, it's supposed to be a one-way route across the 3 venues. So it's been a wonderful challenge from that point of view, and I think it will be a great experience, I think, for actors and audiences as well.
Of course, you're performing and directing as well, Matt, and you know, Guildford Shakespeare Company are no strangers to on a new level, really, because this is also a pilot for open air performance in Guildford, but also for many setting the standard. It's really quite a moment in sort of Guildford creative history. But you've had to think on so many different levels, haven't you?
Yeah, so it's not just the audience, of course. It's also the artists that we're working with, the 11 cast members, which include Sarah and I. How we do rehearsals differently, how you perform differently. Following again the UK government's guidelines for opening up outdoor theatres, there are some very strict guidelines that they give us. So, for example, the actors cannot perform face to face within 2 meters of each other. They have to perform face out, side to side, or back to back, which, you know, if you're doing a romantic scene, you can't, you know, that balcony has got to be 2 meters apart from you, if you like. Then you can't swap props, you can't hand somebody a glass or a cup or a letter or a piece of costume. All of the actors will have their own bags, which has their own props, which they have to keep themselves. So we've been working into the scenes. The way I've been blocking it in my head is that we put in ways so that they don't have to share props and costumes. All of the costumes, for example, will be the actor's own costumes, because we can't hire any costumes, and we can't be laundering full sets of 11 people's costumes every day. So vests, socks, you know, underwear, shirts, trousers, we can't. So it's their own costumes, and we are providing signifiers. So a hat, a walking cane, whatever those might be, and those are their props and bits for the entire run, and then we have them back and we will clean and disinfect them after that. But they can't share pencil or pens. One of the guidelines is that they need to arrive with their lines learnt in advance, to eliminate the amount of scripts or paper in the room that they're bringing in. One of the guidelines did say that you could look at putting giant screens on the walls of your rehearsal rooms so the lines can be up there. Now, GSC, you know, we do very well, but we can't quite afford multimedia screens all over the rehearsal room. Maybe some other theatre companies can do that, but we're not quite in that ballpark yet. So we're asking them to learn their lines beforehand. And the same, you know, there's one way through the building. They all have their own personal hand sanitizers, and they're in their own little casts for each of the venues. So there's been a whole... And usually, as you know, PG, you know, when you did Merry Wives last year, the rehearsals are a collaborative experience. You know, you don't just pre-subscribe to, oh, I move here, I walk there. You find it out as you go through the rehearsals. Unfortunately, you can't do that in this case. So I've pre-blocked, as we call it in fit terms, blocked how movement on the stage will work, who enters where, when you sit down, who moves where, so that we eliminate or mitigate the amount of time spent in the rehearsal room together. People have rehearsal slots. They've got to stick very tightly to their rehearsal slotted times and arrival times. So yeah, it's relearning a whole range of stuff of how we make theatre. And it's not just, as you said, for open air theatre right now. This will inform us going forward when we go to move inside, whenever that may be. And going forward into the future, some of these protocols may end up being in place, you know, for a longer period of time than we're right now.
So I know you've been closely working with Guildford Borough Council to make this happen. It's a pilot. It is for you as a director and a performer, and for your fellow performers at GSC, but also for the audience, a new thing for them. And I know there's been a lot of shows selling out. There's some more to go, and you actually opening out a few more.
Yes, we have. We've just released today, the Friday 21st. We've just released 5 tickets for the 5th of September. So next Saturday, 2 weeks Saturday, 4 more shows to try and accommodate those people who may already have bank holiday plans. And so we've opened up those dates. And if those sell, we've got the opportunity to open up a few others as well. So fingers crossed, they'll continue to sell as well.
Wish you all the very best with Thy Eternal Summer for you, Matt and Sarah, and of course the rest of the gang at GSC. It'll be an interesting spectacle, new progression, new levels, and all the very best.
Thanks very much, PG. Take care. See you soon.